Mike's live? Okay. Thank you so much, Cece, and thank you to everyone who has come out to celebrate Earth Day with us tonight under the beautiful tent at SkySong. As Cece mentioned, my name is Susan. I am the Executive Vice President of Strategy for the Arizona Commerce Authority. We are the statewide economic development agency here in Arizona, so we are different than a chamber of commerce. We are not a membership-based organization. We're actually a public-private partnership that's a part of the state government. We are the only economic development agency in Arizona that provides service to every city, county, town throughout the state. We do that with a three-pronged approach. So we work with businesses to help them come to Arizona and make new capital investments, establish new operations, and create new jobs. We work with our existing businesses to help them continue to grow and continue to create new jobs. And we partner with entrepreneurs to commercialize new technologies and scale their ventures. If anyone is really particularly interested in economic development, I'm happy to chat with you more after the program. I also just want to really recognize the incredible work that Cece has done. She's single-handedly put together this month-long series of events. Yeah, huge round of applause. She's absolutely a visionary. It's been so fun to work with her on this project, and the ACA is very grateful to Cece for inviting us here to be a part of this program. We are excited and very grateful to have Corey Behrens, the CEO of Footprint, and Mike Cruz, the State Public Policy Manager for Lucid Motors, here with us. And both of these companies are doing incredible work to advance innovation in Arizona. At the opening event for FORMSPACEVISION at the beginning of April, we had the honor of hearing from Craig Hodgetts, an architect with Hodgetts & Fung based in LA. And Craig used this phrase to describe the work that his studio does. We innovate in the direction of sustainability. I love that, and I wanted to share it because I think it really perfectly frames the conversation that we're about to have. So with that, let's get into it. Corey, Footprint uses advanced material science to create biodegradable, sustainable packaging with the goal of eliminating single-use plastic. So can you tell us a little bit more about how the company makes the products and what inspired the founders to start it?
Yeah, thank you for the question. And by the way, thank you for this awesome venue. Thanks for having us. This is terrific, so appreciate it. Our company was founded 10 years ago, 2014, by two gentlemen named Troy Swope and Yoke Chung. Yoke's still with us as the Chief Technology Officer for the company. They were long-time Intel, and they were both here from Arizona. And what inspired them was really trying to find ways to eliminate this significant problem we have as a human race and as a globe. So am I allowed to ask questions, by the way? Yes. All right, so how many millions of tons of plastic do you think is produced every year in this country? Give me a number.
500 million tons.
400.
Really?
Good job. That's excellent. Next year it's going to be 500.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's part of our problem, is that not only are we producing a lot of plastic, we're producing more every year. Half of that plastic goes to single-use products that after that primarily go into the landfill, because we only recycle about 9% here in North America for what we produce. So these two gentlemen realized back then that we had a big problem to solve. Being with Intel, they were technology developers. And like me, they believe that a lot of the problems in this country, in particular single-use plastics, are going to get solved by technology development. So they started this company and have put a lot of investment into this company over a number of years with the support of a lot of investors from around the country and around the globe, investing in the technology, because we believe that's one of the biggest things that we're going to need to solve this problem. So that's what inspired them. To your point, we produce a number of different fiber-based packages today across a lot of different categories, both in the supermarket and retail, agriculture, and in consumer goods.
Thank you. Yeah, I remember the first time I heard the story about the flash frozen product, and just to know that we have that kind of innovation happening here in Arizona is inspiring. So we wanted to bring you out and have you share that story with us. So Mike, the mission statement that is spelled out on Lucid's website, to create exceptional experiences that drive the world forward through technology, really also aligns perfectly with the vision that brought us here together tonight. So can you tell us a little bit more about how sustainability is central to Lucid's mission?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you, Cece, and everyone who put this event together. It's important to, one, recognize the value of Earth Day, but also, two, garner the support of people to be able to do what we do at a global scale. I always tell people micro moments lead to macro movements. And these little moments we're having here transcend across all barriers to really advance the message that, sustainability is important, our planet is important, we're important. And the work we do to drive to be able to get that message across is going to be vital as we move forward to ensure that we preserve this planet for tomorrow's youth. Lucid Motors really started as a battery company. Our technology, we started as a tibia before we took that technology and put a face to it through Lucid Motors and creating the most beautiful and luxurious electric vehicles on the market today. And through that process, when we looked at it, when we saw the technology and what we were doing, we wanted to quickly get it out there. The first round was trying to jump on board and take this technology and bring electrification, transportation together and make a motor vehicle that is purely battery electric. And we've done so. And we've done it so well that we produced our first vehicle in 2021, our 2022 model, which is the Lucid Air. It won the Motor Trend Car of the Year its first year. It also has the most efficient battery in the market, and we also have the most range on the market. Being someone new to the industry, we get 516 miles of range. What that means is the technology we have is unique, it's beautiful, and now we're really trying to get that into the hands of others to be able to move and advance that idea of technology, and how do we leverage what we have to be able to get into other markets to make a difference. And from the motor vehicle standpoint, it's reducing tailpipe emissions. But in other sectors, it's supporting events and ideas such as Corey's organization does on a daily basis. So it's coming together, it's advancing that idea and making these technologies accessible to everyone. We talk about inclusiveness and being able to ensure that we're able to all make a difference. And at Lucid, we've been focusing on that. So everything we do revolves around that, and that involves our construction. How do we use tier 2 effluent and reusable water to be able to leverage that within our facilities? How do we reduce our carbon footprint? Being in the corporate world, we produced our first sustainability report last year. Being a new company as a startup and really being in our second year production, we took a year to do a baseline study, and to be able to deliver that already, it's pretty monument to be able to do that as a corporation pretty quickly. So it's at the foundation and our core of everything we do, and it's just part of our culture.
Awesome. So as Cece mentioned, a driving force for her in creating this event was to bring people together to discuss challenges in a positive way. So yes, we all have challenges, but ones that require big innovative solutions, such as those that your two companies are advancing here in our state. So as business leaders who both care deeply about the environment, can you give us your perspectives on the role, and Mike, you touched on this quite a bit in your answer, what is the role that the private sector can play in solving these challenges? So Corey, we'll start with you.
Well, I'll just build on something that Michael said about bringing stakeholders together. I think that's a huge role that we should play and take responsibility for, because big problems like this, for example, single-use plastic, which we're trying to solve for, I talked a little bit about technology are required to solve, but also bringing different entities together up and down the supply chain, including consumers, government, nonprofit, and others to come together to help us solve this problem. Footprint is a global company. It's headquarters right here in Gilbert. Hopefully you know that. We've got big facilities down in Mexicali, California, right across the border from California. And we're building a new facility which will be up and running at the end of this year in Poland, in South Central Poland. And again, we're doing that as a private side, to invest in places where we know we can have impact. And so we're doing that here in North America, we're doing it in Europe. But again, it requires everybody to be involved. Our technology right now, as we think about, you mentioned the bowl, what's important about the fiber-based packaging to replace plastic, it sounds simple because you think about, well, I buy paper packages, paper plates, paper silverware. Those things are being solved today in a low technology way, which is terrific. We need to do that. But if you really think about replacing and mimicking the performance requirements of plastic in everyday use that you use it today, whether it's in margarine containers in a refrigerated environment, whether it's frozen plastic bowls that have to go through the microwave and survive distribution, whether it's a paper cup that can hold hot, cold beverages and alcohol. All of those things require a lot of investment in technology, not just in the materials and working with the right suppliers, but also how we process it, the equipment that we make it on. What's been really cool and why I was super excited to come and join Footprint was because of the investment in technology and what that requires. But they innovated every way along the path. Like I said, the materials, the process and how you make it, the equipment that was developed to form it, and the proprietary coatings that go on it to help with the barrier properties was all part of what we developed. And again, the next place for us, we think, is to continue to bring stakeholders together to continue to help solve the problem we have.
Awesome. Anything you want to tag on there?
Stakeholders is key. You know, at Lucid, we invest heavily in this idea of sustainability prior to our new mission statement. And part of the driving force behind that change in the mission statement was the amount of technology and our use and applications far exceeded just automobiles. But prior to, it was to inspire the adoption of sustainable energy. That was initially where we started. That was our why. And, you know, stakeholders play a role, but as corporations, you know, I think it's important that we play a role in this idea of being cautious capitalists. We, you know, every business, it needs to make money. That's how we create jobs. That's how we sustain a business, but also doing so in a manner that not just promotes this idea of sustainability, but also does so in a manner that invests in things such as our ESG team. We have a dedicated team that oversees all of our environmental, social work, and things of that nature. We have team members that are involved strictly that are in the process of managing and overseeing human rights and managing that aspect of our business, making sure our suppliers and vendors are in compliance with federal, state, international guidelines, treaties, because it's one thing to make an electric vehicle, but it's another to say we got it here by all this amount of carbon emission because our supplier wasn't doing what they should be doing and didn't believe in the same values. So it's investing in those types of things. And a lot of times companies are afraid to do that. It's sort of one of those things right now where I'm on the edge. Should we do this? Should we not? Our customer base isn't probably ideal or privy to this idea. The reality is everyone should be privy to our planet. And it's the narrative and the messaging you have to articulate that really drives that. And for us, we've been able to put our money where our mouth is, focus on these types of items within the business, and you'd be surprised actually how much money we've saved and how much more efficient we've become as an organization by investing in these things. So my words is invest. It's not an expense, it's an investment, not just in the organization, but in the future of doing business.
Awesome, thank you. So Cece, with this capstone event, really wanted to bring you guys out and create connections between the business community and the creative community. We've got installations from amazing artists surrounding us. I think we're going to see something on the tents when it gets dark enough. So let's talk for a minute about creativity. How do you leverage creativity in your businesses, and how can we all think more broadly as creativity about creativity as a problem-solving tool, in addition to just being about expressing ideas? So maybe Corey, we'll go back to you.
Yeah, I mean, I think what's great about creativity is ideas. And what was great about Footprint startup, and I think a lot of what generated the idea behind Michael's company is around the is entrepreneurship and ideas and imagination. And it's someone that's found a problem people need to solve and are actively going to solve that. I think it was Henry Ford who asked the question way back when about what consumers wanted, and they said they wanted a faster horse. But he ended up generating an automobile, which solved a different problem. It solved in a different way. And I think the biggest thing for us in creativity is understanding the questions and the question we're trying to solve. And spending the time to really understand that, and then putting the right people in place to go help solve that problem are key. We've got an incredible amount of cool employees in our company. We've got a little over 2,000 employees, and we're very thoughtful about how we hire those employees to bring in folks that are both right and left brain. We can put them in a room, we can ask them the right questions, they can help us think through things, but it really is about being curious, bringing ideas to the table, and then just relentlessly trying to go solve those. Because as you know, I think the solutions, we're providing fiber packaging solutions, but we also have to provide solutions that consumers are willing to adopt. We have to provide solutions that supply chains are willing to produce. Back to the stakeholder comment, we have to bring people together on how we can get those distributed in a way that may change how they're being distributed today. So innovation for us, it's not just about the fiber-based packaging we're producing, it's about trying to create adoption, awareness, change the industry from top to bottom on how we can get those packages to consumers. If you think about Europe and their supply chain today as an example, consumers, they obviously shop more often, it's a more concentrated area, supply chains are very different, but they may have a shelf life that's 20% of what we require here in the US. There's a lot of reasons for that, but I think if we rethink how we do what we do, we can start to solve this problem more globally together. But I think creativity and innovation is clearly at the forefront. That's what's great about entrepreneurship and really getting the right people to think about how to solve those problems together.
Yeah, I love the comment about ideas. I'm going to say another Craig Hodgett quote. Clearly, I was really into Craig Hodgett, as you guys can tell. When he was talking about the practice in their studio, he said, we don't start with big ideas. We actually start with really small ones. And I thought that was an interesting, and that kind of, you mentioned that Atiba was a battery company. Lucid was Atiba, which is a battery company. So anyway, love your thoughts on creativity.
No, that's absolutely right. We all have great ideas, and it's, Corey hit it, it's about bringing people together and doing so in a manner that brings value to what we want in this world. And I always say when it comes to our innovation and ideas, when it comes to Lucid Motors, many people think we're powered by electric batteries. Our cars are powered by electric batteries. They're not. They're powered by the people that make them. Our cars are manufactured in this state. They're manufactured an hour from here. The ideas, the design group, everything is within. When it comes to inspiration and art, vehicles are truly a blank canvas. If you ever had the opportunity to tour a design studio or manufacturing facility for vehicles, you've probably seen them in pictures or video, clay models. We have artists that are working on our design team. And vehicles are one of the most perfect expressions and forms of art that just happen to be a piece of transportation equipment that we use to get from point A to point B. But I bring that up because the inspiration behind all of our designers and the work they do is really driven within. If you look at our vehicles, and I encourage you to go to lucidmotors.com and check it out, all of our ideas are inspired by our earth and our surroundings. For example, our color palettes. We had photographers and designers go out to different parts of this country. We have sent them to the Mojave Desert, to Sequoia National Forest, and they took pictures, right, at nightfall, took pictures in the day in these different areas. And what they did was they extracted the colors of those pictures, those hex colors, and designed them and built them into the trim packages of our vehicles. So we don't have a midnight black or blue. It's Mojave, it's Tahoe, places where we've been. And that's sort of the creativity. And this was inspired by all of our artists and our design group. And I'm like, just wowed by this idea that something simple as a color palette is pulled from this earth, pulled from an environment, an area. So it's the foundation for what we do. It's part of it. The arts and sciences really come to life at Lucid. I'd encourage you to hop on our website to learn a little bit more about that.
Awesome. Yeah, Lucid has a really incredible story about its project in Arizona. We've certainly come a long way from a windowless white van with two senators and a
We'll
parking
tell you
garage.
that story later.
So both of your companies are working on really amazing solutions at a significant scale to ensure a sustainable future, which is excellent to see that industry is really taking a leadership role. But I'm going to ask one final question of both of you to leave each person here today with one small inspirational idea. So what is one easily achievable thing that each of us as individuals can implement to make a positive impact on the environment?
Buy a Lucid.
Use their products.
Half kidding. I also would say that, we'll just maybe adopt what our employees try to do every day. We've got a great group of passionate employees that are on a mission and a purpose to go make a more sustainable future for all of us. I would say the one thing that they try to do that I get inspired by is just make less impact. If you think about everything you do every day, what you throw away, what you buy, how you use it, the choices you make, you'd be surprised how much less trash you could create, how much less waste you could create. I think little things like that are the kind of things we need as we think about making change in the industry, because I think you said it really well, Michael. It's those very small things that turn into big things. And anyway, and my daughter continues to remind me every day about those types of things. But I think making a little impact would be one thing to think about.
Close us out, Mike.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you all for being here. I always tell people the greatest threat to this country and this planet is the belief that someone else is going to fix this problem and solve these issues, and it's not the case. Unfortunately, we live in a time where it's been very polarized and politicized, where this is, the left issue, this is the right issue. The reality is this is our issue. This is an issue that we need to address as a country, and it's something we have to address not just as a nation, but also from a world perspective. And it starts by, like I mentioned, those micro moments. They lead to macro movement. It starts with us. If you're using some of those disposable products, if you're notorious like me for stopping at Circle K to get a thirst buster, I made the switch and I use a reusable bottle now. And I've been doing that for several years. It means, if it means walking 20 more feet to drop a can into a recycle bin, it's those little things that add up. If you've been thinking about getting an electric vehicle, get one. Hope it's a Lucid. But if it's not, maybe it's just a hybrid. Maybe it's just an internal combustion engine that gets more gas mileage. It's the little things that count, because what happens is if you want to get something done right and do it good, it starts with little steps and doing it consistently. Share the message, educate, get out there, and you can make a difference, and we all make a difference. And it's the little things like these that take place, sharing these stories, talking about business, and supporting businesses that take on these endeavors and who are the pioneers and pave the way, the trailblazers that want to make a difference. Footprint's one of them. They do amazing work. If you get to learn them a little bit more about them, you'd be amazed at what they're doing to improve sustainability and make this planet a greater place to live. Our vehicles, we'd love to see you in there. Plus, you look good. It turns a lot of heads. But the reality is it starts with us. And I encourage you, get out there. You can make a difference. We all can. And it starts with little events like these.
Amazing. Thank you both so much, Mike, Corey, Cece. Thank you all for coming out to celebrate Earth Day with us.
Happy Earth Day. Thank you.
Thank you.